part of an unplanned intro. I got out early this morning, got everything loaded up, kayak and tent and gear and everything. I'm headed up to a camp spot on a lake I gotta hike into. Here it is, middle of May. See if that comes out. Just how brown the trees are up there. Still green on them. Just barely starting to, leaves are just starting to pop right here at this elevation. As I'm headed up into the mountains here, there's no leaves on the trees. All right, well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me. I'm on a camping trip. I lost some of the footage that I had coming in as like an intro. Came over the other side of that mountain and went up a dirt road about 15-20 miles and got on a hiking trail that comes down to this lake. I loaded up my kayak on a trolley. I've got a little cart. I'm gonna spend like maybe 2 or 3 days here on this lake that I had to hike into. And I had a cart with wheels on it for my kayak. So I had my kayak with all the equipment and everything in it. I was taking the forestry service road, which is kind of the long way, but at least I had a flat surface to come in on. And the axle broke not far from the truck, fortunately. It was a couple hundred yards down the locked forestry road. They've got it gated, so yeah, it's about 1.5 miles to come in that way. Or you can hike up and over the mountain here behind me. There is a hiking trail. So what I ended up doing, instead of trying to fix that, I realized that the axle was like a machined part, and I lost a little piece of that when it broke. If I had gone all the way back to town and went to the hardware store, that it would still almost be impossible probably to find a piece to fabricate to fix that axle. And I've been looking forward to this trip for some years. 2018 or 2019, me and a buddy hiked up here, and my buddy caught like a 25-inch brown trout, a big hook jaw male, out of this lake that you got to hike into. So anyway, long story short, after the cart broke, I almost went back to get to the hardware store and try to fix it, and I realized, geez, it's just gonna end the trip. I'm gonna have to bag out on this trip. It's downhill getting in there. I'm just gonna drag the kayak through the woods. So that's what I did. I just put I pared it down a little bit, but I put my cook stuff in my camping equipment. It's just drag the kayak. Yeah, I'm just gonna live here for a couple of days. Hopefully I'll catch a nice trout and do a catch and cook. I brought some potatoes and onions and, you know, just bare essentials to have coffee and hopefully catch a trout and fry up the potatoes and onions and just live on that for a couple of days up here. But it's bigger than I remember. I said the last time I was here was like 2018, and we spent a couple of days here, and we did catch a few smaller trout. Aside from my buddy caught that big giant brown trout, he let that go. We got some pictures of it, but he let it go. And then we ended up catching some smaller rainbows, and so we know that there's at least those two species here. And there's a nice little stream that comes in down farther. Because I was dragging the kayak, I decided not to set up camp down closer to the stream, which would have been really nice, but that's like another 400 yards down the trail, and it's you know, I got probably over 100 pounds of gear inside of my kayak that weighs 55 pounds, so it's like dragging a deer out of the woods. Definitely going up. Gonna have to pull a kayak by itself and then jockey gear back and forth with the backpack and everything. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. All right, well, I got the kayak, towing it down to the water here. This is about like the path going, the trail coming in all the way down to the water. And looks like there's like one spot to put in, the rest is pretty ledgy. But made it down to the water. Got the kayak, got camp kind of set up, but here we are. Glad I made it. And yeah, it's a little bit bigger than I remembered it, actually. I think it's about a mile and a quarter long. Goes down around the bend here, and it's got a nice stream that comes in, and the wind and all anything that's in the drift, any kind of food that might be in the drift or insects or whatever, getting blown down to that end, and that's where the stream comes in. So I'm gonna probably end up down that way. but I was thinking to get out of the wind. The wind is finally starting to die down a little bit, and see if I see hopefully some dry fly action. I got the fly rod and the spinning rod with some jig flies that I tied. Got a jig fly that I tied as a minnow imitation Coq de Leon streamer jig fly. I'll give that a try. And I've got a 16th ounce, that's an 1/8 ounce head. This is a 16th ounce, just a black marabou with some astaz. Jig fly, a little bit of orange in there. And I've got my fly rod that I'm kind of abusing here. Doesn't take much, but got a dry fly rod for with a little teeny size 16 light Cahill-ish style of fly. So yeah, we'll see if we see anything coming off. If there's if the water calms down and warms up enough, there should be some insect activity. I know there's trout in here, so I'm gonna troll around the streamers and hope for some dry fly action later on in the afternoon. There are some insects in the air, mostly black flies. I just sprayed myself because they are pretty bad, especially this time of year. All you gotta do is kick the leaves a little bit and up they come. So the little vampires are out, but we're gonna give that a try, see how she handles. At the old sit inside of kayak. I acquired this kayak right before they came out with the sit on top kayaks. And oh, a bunch of minnows right there, that's good to see. A bunch of baitfish right here in the water, big school of them. Yeah, I've got this cockpit style kayak here that I picked up, right before they came out with the sit on top kayak. So I ended up getting that, I don't know, around the year 2000 or something. So that's 25 years old, and it's still holding up. It's good when it's windy out like this though, because you're sitting a little lower. It's not quite as you don't have quite as much dexterity and movement as you do on a sit on top kayak. Of course, that's why most people have gone to that. But it's also lighter. This is a lighter kayak than a sit on top. The sit on tops are quite a bit heavier, so I was able to pull it with my gear down here and just like portage it 3/4 of a mile. So worked for that as well. I'm gonna get out in it. Let's go get after it, see how she handles. Yeah, I just gotta remember about that rock there. Just sticking up enough. There's another one. All right, pretty rocky. I don't see a lot of weeds so far. Yeah, when we're out here, 2018, would that be like 7 years ago already? Wow. Yeah, I had a fish finder, depth finder, and it's 70 feet deep out in the middle here. So it's definitely got that thermocline, the thermocline for the fish in the summertime if the water gets warm, and then it's got a couple cold streams coming in, rocky bottom, and it's just about perfect for trout. Might as well troll my way. Let's see how that goes. I'll go with the small fly. A little black jig fly here, and there's a couple loons out there. I could hear them earlier, but now I see them. So it's a good stretch down the shore to where that stream comes in, but I do want to go take a look at that. Nice to be out here, first time out in a boat for the season, so feels real good. Real nice. That great blue heron over here, catching the last rays of the sun. Looking for some bait fish. I did see some along the shoreline there, where the stream comes in over on this corner here, so I'll slowly drift over that way. It's out around that bend there. Gonna have to battle the wind back, even though the sun's going down. Normally the wind would start to die down with it, but well, that's a pretty good gust of wind, so we'll see how that goes. Nice to be out here, real nice, beautiful. Got a pretty stream that comes in over here. This is what I wanted to look at down at this end here, but it's real shallow. Also switched over to a spinner, and I'm going to get over to the other side over here where it's a little deeper because it shallows right up on this end. So maybe I'll get to the lee side of the wind and paddle up this rocky shore over here. Paddle up the rocky shore and give that a try, and then cut across the lake. Although it gets wider up there, so. And head back to camp, start getting some dinner going. Not really picking up anything yet. Get ready to get back and get some dinner going, which I'm looking forward to. I'm starved from all the activity today. Getting down here, getting set up, the boat in the water, and really looking forward to dinner tonight. I've got a chicken and noodle, like a mountain house hiker meal I want to try. Maybe I'll try a few casts with the spinner out from behind this, tucked in behind here, out into that current from the wind. Sometimes that's a good little transition line. Oh, there was something in it. Oh, I did catch a little perch. Look at that. I felt like something had hit it. Made it from out fishing, and yeah, it's just the wind is persistent out there. Matter of fact, I've got to move my cooking and stuff. The wind is gonna keep me out of there. I'm gonna get over here where I can get a little fire going and sit here and eat my supper. I'm definitely gonna call it an early night tonight. Eat good, sleep good, and we'll hit it in the morning. See how the fish are biting. I'm curious to give it a good morning push and just hang out here for the day. Practice some camping stuff. Cut up some wood. Got a few knots that I want to work on, and yeah, I'm just gonna mess around camp and do a little fishing, a little kayaking, a little exploring, and come back and eat and rest, and I'll give it a few nights here. Pretty nice and quiet. The loons were doing their loony call here a little while ago, so that sounds nice. All right, well, I'll check back. We get a fire going where it gets dark. All right, getting ready to cook dinner. The wind is finally kind of calming down. There's still some waves out there, but I'm behind this brow of this hill here now, so I've gotten out of the wind, out and away from the tent. Got a little smudge fire going here. I cheated and got some birch bark, little hemlock, dry twigs and stuff like that, and I found some sticks, so I'm gonna get just a little fire going, just enough to keep the mosquitoes away right at dusk, which is when they seem to be really bad. But this is actually an O Meals. I think I said Mountain House. This is O Meals, a home style, Southwest style chicken with rice. So I wanted to give this a try. It's a backpacker's, backpacker meal, and it comes actually with this heating pad, and I don't feel like messing around with that right now as it's getting dark and reading instructions and stuff. But I did have time to read the ingredients on the back of the package here, and I was pretty impressed. I could actually pronounce all the words. Looks like whole chicken, pre-cooked chicken, yeah, peppers and black peas, some pine nuts and fire roasted pepper, salt, sugar, another kind of pepper, dehydrated bell pepper, several peppers. I'm sure there's probably, looks like there's garlic. So a lot of ingredients, but at least you can read them all. So we'll give it a try and see if it has that manufactured plasticky taste. Sometimes these meals like this have that taste to them that I don't like. So we'll see if I'll buy this one again. And then I'm not going to try the heating pad. That's a really interesting way to do that. If you were out hiking in the woods and you didn't have a stove, I've got my little rocket stove here that I'm going to cook on for now because it holds the pot real well. I'm just going to boil some water here And I've got this. This is the food pack. It's got some weight to it. I don't know what they said for how many ounces it is. 8 ounces. So, you know, it's got a little bit of weight to it. Half a pound. And I'm just going to heat that up in there. Let that water come to a boil. Warm up that food. It's already all pre-cooked anyway, according to the package. So we'll double check that with some boiling water. And yeah, it comes with this heat pad. I didn't even know that when I bought it. So that's an interesting thing to try if you didn't have your stove, or your stove broke, let's just say. You're hiking in the wintertime and something happened to your stove, or you forgot it, or didn't want to bring it, wanted to go light. You can actually, yeah, get that boiling hot with this heating pad. I just don't feel like doing it right now, but I'll save it for later. And yeah, have dinner out in the woods with the loons. You can hear the loons every once in a while. They haven't made their call when I have happened to have the video going, but it's very distinctive, so maybe we'll catch it. We'll see them out there tomorrow anyway. All right, bon appetit. Get this thing heated up. And a little smudge fire for the mosquitoes. Feels good. All right, I've let this heat up for about 5 minutes in boiling water. It's definitely hot enough. I just taste tested it, and yeah, it's actually very good. It tastes like a home cooked meal. So, you know, I've had these backpacker meals, or what's the army ones? The oh, I can't think of the name of them now, but yeah, the U.S. Army meals, MREs, the military recipe. I don't care for those. This is much better. So the Southwest style chicken with rice, oatmeals. Looks like it's got the pyramids of Giza on there or something. The technology with the heat pad, in case you forgot your stove or didn't want to bring it, or it breaks, I guess. So yeah, half a pound of food. Yeah, it's enough. If I wanted to get out a piece of bread with butter or whatever, it would probably be good enough for a minute. Plus I've got some snacks or whatever, and I'm probably gonna have my cup of coffee with hot chocolate mix and call that good for the night. But yeah, very good. It doesn't have that manufactured monosodium glutamate or whatever taste to it, and I'm sure it's got some preservative in it, but it looks like a lot of it is natural salt, and of course it's dehydrated and vacuum sealed. So yeah, it's very good, very tasty, surprising. So I didn't know what I was going to think of it, and it was $6.99. I just saw the price on it. Yeah, $6.99. So for $7, foregoes having to vacuum seal a dehydrated meal yourself. So yeah, I'm just gonna go camping for a couple nights. I could definitely do this. I'll see how the portion works out and get back to you on that. But as far as the taste goes, it's very good. So yeah, if I brought some dry tacos or something, they probably get like I'd say for me, 2 tacos out of that, and that would be a good way to do it as well. All right, there you have it. The loons off in the distance there. They just started doing a bunch of calling right at dusk. Saying goodbye to the day. Quiet up here. One of the few places, except for some nature sounds. That's a nice bunch of different stoves. I've got MSR stoves, multi-fuel. You can burn kerosene, gasoline, kerosene. Yeah, I said that. I've got a propane, the small screw-on propane type. I've got the Coleman 2-burner stove, and yeah, you name it. Cook on the fire if I have to. But this little alcohol burning stove has really outlasted. I mean, the can should be just about. I mean, I'm surprised it's still going. Really, I've used this can many times. because it's so quick. It throws off the alcohol. Seems to throw a hotter flame. Water gets boiling quicker. So there you go. You use less fuel. So and super light. I mean, this thing packs up. This unscrews off of here. You just carry the canister in this little tripod for the stand, and yeah, the burner, which is pretty small, and that folds up as well. Very packable, very functional, and like I said, I guess it's because the alcohol must burn hotter, because it seems to get the water boiling faster, and thus uses less fuel. So there you have it. That's my gear review. My gear review and my dehydrated meal backpacker review. A little bit of coffee mixed with half a package of hot chocolate, like Swiss Mix or whatever, dry packets. I like to put those in my pack when I'm hiking, and as well as coffee and a little bit of sugar. But if you mix it with the hot chocolate, the Swiss Mix stuff, it's sweet enough that I don't need to add sugar. So, and I like the taste of the chocolate. Another little camp favorite. Yeah, regular coffee mixed with hot chocolate mix. Awesome. It's like dessert. Well, there's the view out of the tent as I'm waking up this morning. A little bit of sun peeking through the haze. Definitely does look a little bit overcast, like they said it was going to be. So they're on with the weather report. But thought I heard Dave Politis and Rusty West out here talking about what they're going to do with all the bodies last night as I was falling asleep. I slept good though. I didn't hear much of the critters wrestling around. The loons in the middle of the night, I actually hit the record button. I think I got some of that, and I went back to sleep, and I'm supposed to get up early and get out in the kayak before the wind picked up, but looks like I missed it. Slept real good. Temperature was pretty good, and very quiet. Just had the birds singing this morning to wake me up. So I'll get breakfast going. I want to wash my feet. Took a beating yesterday, pulling the kayak in the mud and everything. So I'm gonna take my time getting going here, but I'll get out and fish the outer edge of this wind. Probably gonna go to the lee side, up to the other end up there, and yeah, probably get out in the kayak, give it a try. Get the breakfast going. Yeah, I'm gonna wander over from the bedroom here over to the kitchen. Oh, get a cup of coffee going. Woo! I did end up feeling like I needed to sleep more than I needed to get up and go fishing. I had a dream last night. I thought I heard Rusty West and Dave Politis having a conversation outside my tent, what they're gonna do with all the bodies. And that's as I was falling asleep. What are they going to do with all the kids' shoes and everything? All those socks and kids' shoes. Anyway, that's my morning humor for you. All right, so yeah, let's get the little fire pit going and get the jet boiler going. Have some good old coffee. Well, it was a little chilly this morning, so I had to get a fire going. Last night it was for the black flies. This morning, because there's a chill to the air, and I was supposed to get out on the lake here before sunrise. That didn't happen. I was just a little too tired and slept in. Going for my second cup of hot chocolate and coffee here before I do my oatmeal, and then I should probably make a sandwich to head out there. So little more time involved than you think sometimes. And then I've got some apple spice oatmeal. Apple and spice oatmeal, which is one of my favorites as far as oatmeal goes. And yeah, I'm just gonna slowly get rolling here. Right, and there's your breakfast. Some apple and cinnamon oatmeal. Oatmeal's not my favorite, but the apple cinnamon's doable. I heated that up on the little stove and it just took a minute. And do that, make a sandwich and get out there. This afternoon, before I start to get things ready to drag out, I don't know if I'm going to spend another night or not. That was the plan to, but it depends on how good the fishing is today. And camping's been fun. It's a great place to camp. I slept real good. Drag everything back up over the mountain here behind me. So my loon t-shirt. Bunch of loons out there. At least they'll know I'm a fan. If they see me, they won't attack. All right, I'm finally getting out there. I got up at daybreak. Actually, the loons were going off just as it was getting daybreak. It was dark out in the tent when I recorded them, but shortly after that, the day started to break. So that was probably about 5 this morning, 5:30. It's about 8:30 now. So that's how long it's taken to eat breakfast and have a couple cups of coffee, move stuff around, and get ready to get out there. So the wind has picked up again, which is kind of what I wanted to avoid. So I'm gonna go to the lee side of the wind. A lot of times, as far as fishing goes, the side of the lake or pond or body of water that you're fishing that is opposite the wind. So this bank here is where all the debris and plankton and things like that gets blown to this side. So typically the bait will be hanging around, the minnows and bait fish will be hanging around on this side, the wind side, because of all the debris and food and plankton and things that they eat will be blown to this side. But it's hard to fish, and especially in a kayak, because the wind right away takes control as soon as you put the paddle down to start casting or whatever. And I control a little bit and use the wind, but I think what I'm gonna do is get on the lee side of it just to be out of the wind, and I'll see how it goes. If I had a boat that was under power, let's say with a trolling motor or whatever, yeah, I would be fishing this side if I was seriously fishing. But you know, I've got to catch one that's probably like no bigger than 12 or 14 inches if I'm going to cook it up. Anything bigger than that I'm going to probably release, because that's just the kind of trip it is. I don't feel like I don't have anything to refrigerate, so and I'm not going to eat a bigger fish. I don't want to have any leftovers or whatever. There's bears and stuff around. So I think what I'm going to do is just get to the lee side of the wind and fish on the shaded side. The sun is well, this will be the shaded side now, but once I get over there, I'll be in the, you can almost see it over there, the flat water, calmer water on the other side. I won't be pushed around by the wind, but this side would probably be the better fishing side as far as the bait and everything goes. The bait would be feeding more on this side, I would guess. Oh, fishing tip for you. Made it out here, and I think I'm going to troll to this to the lee side of the wind, starting from this other end here. So wait, a little less force on the wind. So and get up here, and I see there's a calm patch all along that shore on that side. So got a jig fly out, troll up around this side here, and fish the calm patch. Might be able to even stop and cast and not get blown around. Let's see what happens. Stream coming in on this side here, so that's 3 streams I found coming in. There's a small one on the other side, This one's got some current to it, and there's definitely an outlet there, so the fish can get in there and spawn. It's really a really good cold water lake. I'm sure there's some fish in here. I don't see much for activity, but these are areas that the trout that are in here can get up and places to spawn. It's really a beautiful day out here. Beautiful spot, nice and quiet. Needed to get away for a little bit, and this stretches up here a good long ways. About a quarter-mile from camp. Looks like the lake's about 3/4 to a mile long. A couple bald eagles. That means there's fish around. Usually a sign. If the fish get wind of that, though, if they get predated on, or they see these eagles flying around, because they're always looking up fish, yeah, that'll drive them down away from the surface. And that's why I'm not seeing any surface activity, and I don't see much for any insects hatching, and the water's real cold. Woo, icy cold. So maybe the bugs just aren't, mayflies and caddisflies, aquatic insects aren't hatching yet, probably. There's some terrestrial stuff, mosquitoes and things like this, black flies, real small stuff. So I haven't seen any breaks on the surface yet. We'll keep trying. Well, I've made it to the other end, kind of where the wind begins, and definitely more enjoyable not being in a constant gale wind. It's only about 5 to 10 miles an hour probably, but the kayak, it's constantly battling it, so this is nice. Just gonna take a few strokes and glide a little ways without getting pushed back. But here comes a little force wind right there. Very rocky edges. It looks like it's the deeper side is going to be on this side over here. All these ledges dropping off, and some big giant boulders. So a lot of good structure, rocky bottom, not a lot of weeds, and a beaver dam, and it looks like another stream comes in over here. So plenty of water inlet coming in, fresh cold water out of the mountains here. And it's nice being out here. Good place to come in and camp during deer season and deer hunt. Probably not too many guys want to pack in. And then this is the ridge that I had to pull my kayak down over. It's pretty steep down to get here, down the trail. It's like a hiking trail coming in from that side, and then maybe another quarter-mile or so on the other side of that ridge is where my truck is parked. That's where the service road is, and there's a gate for the Forest Service or whatever. And yeah, I pulled my kayak down over that and through the woods over to where I am here. So looking forward to putting my 100 pounds of gear or whatever I've got back inside of this kayak and pulling it back up there. I'm probably gonna have to jockey stuff ahead and pull the kayak dry without anything in it, and load up. And when I get to the top, probably have to shuttle stuff up and pull the kayak up. Just keep jockeying stuff forward, I guess. Might do that tonight. The fishing hasn't been impressive. Of course, I didn't get out here early this morning like I wanted to. So it's usually better first thing in the morning. I'll give it a good shot. It's nice out here. I made it out here, so got an excuse to stay for a little bit and really check it out. I'm gonna try fishing the mouth of this inlet here where the stream comes in. Looks like there's a beaver or a muskrat dam there. So probably a lot of sticks. We'll do a little prospecting here. Stream, mouth of the stream. Spinner. today. The only thing I caught so far was a perch. Nice rocky bottom here where the stream comes in. It's usually a good place to suss out for trouts. A little 16th ounce jig. Looks like it's about 10 feet deep and rocky. Used to have a couple patches of foam on either side here, so when I set the paddle down, it didn't make any clunky noises. I think with the water flow, if there was anything around, it'd be here. Pretty isolated spot. There's a big school of minnows right here, just like I thought. What do we got here? Little teeny rock bass. Another little rock bass. Bunch of little rock. Yeah, there's a bunch of big school of small rock bass. It's a bigger one. They're right there, looking at me like, "What are you doing? What are you doing out here?" And a big school of bait fish. Maybe that's it. Maybe they. Maybe I need to bring a minnow trap next time I come here and try some live bait. Fish aren't interested in lures right now. Some night crawlers. I prefer to fish with artificials. Less mess, less stuff to mess around with. And of course I make lures and tie flies, so I have a pretty good luck with all that. These imitations do well. You can use scents. You know, there is a fish scent. I was even thinking about getting some Korean fish oil or something like that, and making my own dressing for a lure. Catch some real fish, some smelt or something, and render the oil. Yeah, this is a little stream that comes in here. Little teeny trickler, but it's fresh water. Actually a pretty good little stream up there coming in. That's why there's a bunch of bait fish and stuff hanging around the mouth here, and then you get all the sticks in the water from the beaver dam. Look at, there's a ton of little minnows. It's all little minnows right here. Shying away from the kayak, but yeah, there's schools of minnows, schools of little rock bass, all kinds of forage for a bigger fish. Maybe I'll get it back out there with a bigger jig, a heavier jig, a 1/4 ounce. I've been using 16th ounce, real small stuff. Maybe it's an inch long, 1.5 inches, and then the little rooster tail. That's probably also about 1.5 inches long. Maybe I need to size it up. All right. Well, maybe I'm gonna get out and use the wind and fish a little deeper along this edge here, and let the wind carry me back. I'll kind of wind troll a jig deep, get upwind here. Well, I don't know where to cast. I just had two loons come. Two loons came up about 15 feet away. I talked to them for a minute. I should have turned the camera on. I showed them a picture of my shirt. I was like, "Look, I got a picture of you guys right here on my shirt." They were impressed. They stuck around for a few minutes. Now I'm kind of waiting to see where they're going to come back up, because I don't want to cast into them or whatever. But that means there they are right there. That means that there's bait around. So we will cast this way. I'll let that go to the bottom. I got a jig head with a paddle tail, switching it up a little bit. But these guys were they were not scared of me at all. They came up. They must have been chasing a school of bait or whatever, and they came up like 15 feet away from the kayak, and they just sat there and looked at me. I talked to them for a minute. I didn't want to hit the beep 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 on the camera and scare them off, so But there they are. They were way closer than that. Ah, nice out here. I'll try this for a little while. Fish around this bait ball that they must be chasing. It's always a good idea. The fish sometimes will work in conjunction with the loons. The loons will be circling around the bait and trying to ball it up and the fish will get involved in that as well. Just like the seagulls with the striped bass. Yeah, the striped bass push the bait up, and then the seagulls can dive on it from above, because the bait goes right up to the top to try to escape the fish that are chasing it from below, of course. And so same concept in freshwater, only not with seagulls, but loons and fish ducks. A couple different species of fish ducks, that mergansers, things like this, that will do the same. And if the fish are in a feeding mode, and there's enough of that kind of activity going on, they will work off of each other to get their meal. A lot of bait in here, so I'm sure there's some big trout in here as well, going by what I saw about 7 years ago. The only reason I came back up here, really, caught a good one back in 2018, probably 6 pounds. 6 pound hook jaw male brown trout. So we get this little Kayak paddle tail with an underspin, about 2.5 inches long. So I'm sizing up just a little bit. Trout usually like small stuff, so I'll keep it on the smaller side. There he is. The loon. Session yielded nothing except for a good paddle and a little bit of sunshine. Saw the loons, came right up to the boat pretty much 20 feet away, and that was pretty cool. Saw a lot of bait fish along the shorelines, but we got some cloud cover blowing in, and the wind is picking up again, so I'm gonna have lunch and just see how I'm feeling. Didn't expect the situation with the cartwheels, the axle breaking on me, so I may have to take that into consideration, especially if we got weather moving in, like rain. That'll just make everything heavier to carry, and wet isn't fun. So I'm gonna have something to eat. A couple hours in the kayak is about as much as I feel comfortable doing. In a stationary position for a couple hours, sitting down like this, it's good to stand up. So I'm gonna get a stand up and sandwich and see where we're at. Well, got some interesting weather moving in here. I'm on my second day. I'm definitely battling the wind both days. Had a late breakfast and I'm getting back out here, but because of my situation with the broken cartwheels and having to shuttle stuff out of here, and it being almost a mile straight uphill, I'm gonna have to call this one short. But I figured I'd get out here one more time, and yeah, I got some interesting weather and clouds moving in, a lot of wind, and it's not really helping. Plus it was a full moon last night. Fish were probably active super early this morning, and I just didn't get out. I was too tired this morning. So anyway, it's been an interesting trip. We'll see how we get out of here. I'm gonna have to self-rescue myself to get out of here, and so I probably should get going on that. But I'm gonna take I'm gonna get upwind and then just troll my way back and just do one last hurrah. So let's see how it goes. Hey, how are you? Can I come over and say hello? Did you call me over? How are you doing? You got yourself a little nest there, huh? Cool. And there's Papa. There's Papa and there's Mama. Hey, Mama. How are you? Got some little goslings going? Some little babies? Babies? That's so cool. Good to see you. You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. Here's some calls. It almost sounded like it was up on shore, like it was like up in the woods. And so I started paddling over. I was like, that's kind of odd to hear a loon like on the land. So I started paddling over, and then I saw her, and there's Poppy. She was on the nest, and she was like calling, I don't know, probably to this guy here, but I was a couple hundred yards away. And how you doing? There she goes. She's making that noise. Calling to the other one, I guess, to come over. It's your turn to sit on the nest. Your turn to watch the kids. I got to see some wildlife. First time out paddling since last year, so it's good to get out and do some paddling. First time, well, no, it's not the first time camping, but first time solo camping. And that was fun. All the gear's working good. My little jet stove, and got a new little ultralight camp chair. That was good to carry and bring. What else did I have? I got the tent out for the first time in a while. That's still running good. Yeah, all the gear's running good and working good. The only thing that's not cooperating are the fish, and it might be because it was a full moon. The fish can feed at night when there's a full moon. They like to hunt in that dusky kind of light. It's cool, and it's easier for them to predate, to ambush prey when it's like dusk. That's why they like first thing in the morning and right before dark, because it's that dusk light that makes them keen hunters and successful. So that's probably what was going on. They were hunting in the night, and during the day they would rest. On a new moon, when it's black, when the sky is black, there's no moon out, they will be more active right at daylight. They'll be waiting for the daylight, that dusk, so that they can hunt and see what's going on better than when it's pitch black. But when it's full moon all night, and it was all night, I got up a couple times during the night. It was full moon all night, so that's almost a perfect hunting conditions for fish. So there are large predator trout in here. They probably were feeding in that dusky light of the moonlight. And what happened was I was too tired to get out until once I had breakfast and everything. I think I got out around 8:30. So, well, that was a good trip. The real adventure is going to be getting out of here. We'll see how that goes. Well, this is what I got to look forward to. And then, of course, it's down the other side, so this is what I got to drag. This is my first load. I've got my way too much food. I didn't eat that much. Food left over. Rods. And I've got a full-on trail pack. Full. And I've got about 3/4 of a mile from the lake straight uphill, and it flattens off and goes down the other side a bit, so I'm gonna have to stop and take a few breaks. But this is the first run. Carrying a lot of weight per trip. If I was doing a day hike or something, I wouldn't carry this much stuff in one trip, but I was gonna camp out for several days down there. But that was with the wheels. The axle broke, so probably because I had too much weight on it, you think? And that's gonna take at least 3 trips up here, reaching the first switchback where it gets real steep. And zigzags back and forth here in animal ways. At least there's a trail. This is what I
dragged everything in the kayak down. It took twice as long. I did have to cinch everything down and go real slow. And I got the back of the kayak and the calves. I'm feeling that. The pointy prow of the kayak. Once you start pitching downhill and you're dragging it with a strap like I was. Whew. The pointed bow of the kayak got me right in the back of the calf. Each one, as I was going downhill, hit me pretty hard with all that weight in there. I'm feeling it now, so. Quite the adventure. Let's keep plodding along slow. Whew. Ah, this is the first bridge crossing. Nice little stream, pretty little stream. This is the stream that goes into the lake that I was fishing the inlet of earlier this morning. Yeah, it comes from way up here, not to the top yet. Still coming downhill. Top's up there, probably another quarter mile or so. I'd stop and take a break, but I've got at least 3 loads to do, and the kayak is going to be a lot of fun dragging uphill. Of course, this part of the path is all muddy still from spring thaw. And not a chance to dry out. So plenty of black flies. Yeah. Trying not to get feet wet. It's gonna be fun going uphill in the slick, pulling the kayak. I was hoping to pull the kayak dry, but I do have to have the some of the fishing stuff in there and some of the lighter stuff. Otherwise, it'd be like 4 trips. 3 is going to be enough. I'm hoping to try to pull this off in 3 trips. And we're hitting the next switchback, and the top's up in there somewhere. Well, so far I haven't had to stop and take a break. I'm going slow. This cooler around my neck, that would be great to get rid of that. It's probably the heaviest piece. I'm taking the heaviest trip. All my sleeping equipment and food and cooking stuff, basically, and my 3 fishing rods. Taking the first load. Taking the most in the first load, I figure. And yeah, we're not really quite cresting. Now I can see daylight through the trees up there, so cresting the hill. Yeah, it's maybe 1/8 of a mile now. I'm closing in on it. And then it's downhill on the other side of that. About the same distance, but at least it's downhill. All right, there's the top of the hill. Up that steep bank there. Closed right in on it. Steadily moving. Just going slow. And this last pitch here to this. Now I am switching back to parallel the top, and then it switches back one more time. Whew! At least I've been steadily moving. I don't want to set all this stuff down. It almost takes I kind of got it configured in such a way it's be hard to take everything off and put it back on again. So I'm just going to keep moving slow. And yeah, after this last little switch back to the top, it levels off and pitches down. So working up a pretty good sweat at this point. Probably about 300 yards. All right, reached the trailhead. So I'm at the trailhead, and I realized it's actually 3/4 of a mile in a straight line. So with all the switchbacks and the different directions the trail goes on the way up here, I would say it's probably more like a mile. Made it. First round. Well, I'm going to be huffing and puffing coming up down. I'm on my way back down from the first trip. I tried to make that the heaviest, but I don't know. The kayak is going to probably, I was thinking about it, the kayak is probably, I don't know, a close second, 55 pounds. I'm going to have to be pulling it up this. Yeah, it's pretty steep all the way up to the top, so I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't get dark out. Self-rescue, help! Well, on the second big pitch, on the second trip up, and I've got my shoulders way overloaded with fishing stuff, and fishing backpack, and a cooking backpack. And whew, I'm going slow, but with my shoulders way overweighted, I'm feeling it. I'm glad this is the last sling with the gear, and the kayak's pretty dry, so I have to drag it all the way up. But making some headway, getting to know the trail real well. I can see exactly where I'm going to have to turn around and two-hand it. Up through there. Up through there. Whew. All right. See if I survive this. All right. I am having to take a break a little more often than I did on the first trip. Whew, I think the first trip was heavier, but I'm feeling this one. So fun, getting it done. All right, made it to the bridge. Second time up. Yeah, this is about halfway up the steep, so I'm gonna stop here and take a, even though this is all strung together special here, I gotta take this all apart. Oh my goodness. Remind me not to do that again for a little while. Oh my god. Woo! Oh man. Alright, well, a good stopping point for a minute. Got all that stuff up to here anyway, so yeah, this full of fishing bags full of heavy lures and stuff. All my fry pans and cook stuff, and geez, that was a my shoulders are feeling it. Shoulders are feeling it. I will sleep good tonight if I make it. So that's about halfway. Keep moving. That's about the amount of a break I can take before it gets dark. Sun's going down. Yep, sun's going down. I got two more switchbacks. And over the brow of the hill up there. But ooh, I promised myself to have a little party when I get to the top of the hill, which is going to consist of a bowl of pasta and a big cup of coffee. That's yeah, once I'm sitting back enjoying that, I'll know that I've made it. All right. Six, it'll be 6 trips. 3 times down, 3 times back. So, whew, the kayak. That'll be more of like a drag action. At least I won't have so much weight on my shoulders, man. The weight on my shoulders is what got me. But I'm glad that part's over. And yeah, it looks like, geez, I might even be able to get part way up the trail. Huh? Maybe I can get all the way back before it's dark. I do have a headlight, need be. It's like the first side hill pitch that starts the switchbacks all the way down the mountain to the lake. So I don't know. I'm always curious about how much the camera picks up. It's a somewhat distorted view. I think they call this fisheye lens, but they've got some other adjustments on it. It's not, it gives a pretty good Yeah, it's pretty good for what it is. But I don't know that you can see how steep that is. It's steep. Pretty steep. Well, we'll see. See on the big screen. All right, so this starts the descent for the big switchbacks that end up down at the lake. Two streams that come together. Looks like there's this one and there's one over there. I think the one over on that side is the one that comes down from the bridge that I stop at for a rest. And we'll do the third trip down and the last trip back up with the kayak. So filming a little bit more of this stretch just to give an idea. And there's a stream that runs into the lake. One of them. Cute little stream. And then we start our switchbacks again. I don't see the glare of the lake down there. See if that shows up. That's the lake down at the bottom of the hill. It came from way up in there. Boy, I tell you, this is just doable. If it was any farther, it would be. I'd be camping out again tonight. And then, yeah, I thought about doing that. I thought about making two car trips with everything that I could, aside from sleeping stuff and maybe something small to eat in the morning to get me back up the hill. I almost was going to do that. And then it looked like it was going to rain, so I scratched that idea. Now it looks like it's not going to rain. And the wind died down. So that's what was plaguing me this whole time up here, was the wind as far as the fishing goes. Oh, yeah, you can kind of see as the sun's going down, the glare. The lake's still a good ways off down there. And this is the bottom of the trail. Or you can go left, right. It's a nice hiking trail. I guess it goes around the lake. So, both directions. And if you were like a professional mountain biker or a real top-notch athletic mountain biker, you could do this on a mountain bike. I haven't seen any. I've seen a few hikers, but there's a few markers. I've seen a few bike tire tracks. Whew. So anyway, I wouldn't want to pedal up that though. Definitely would be pushing the bike if I mountain biked it. But all right, see how this goes. I'm gonna get down to my yak, drink the remainder of the water. I've got one snack down here, like a nature bar or whatever. Whew. And hopefully that gives me what I need to drag this stretch. This is kind of a flat stretch here, and then it does one more switchback down to the lake. What's behind me here? So, yeah, flat for a ways here. And then one more switchback down to my kayak at the lake. And yeah, I'm gonna probably rest there for just a minute and start hauling. Sun's going over the hill, so it might be just in the nick of time, as they say. Probably about 20 minutes with no wait, down the hill. It's about 20 minutes per trip, one way, 20 minutes. Not too bad. Like I said, if it was any longer, yeah, it would take a day and a half or something. Split it up into a couple days worth of hauling stuff. But anyway, here we go. I'm almost at the kayak. No big rush though. I've got a headlight. If it's in the dark, it's in the dark. Here we go. Here's the yak. So All 12 feet of it. And I do have a bunch of, oh, I got my sleeping bag. Camp pads, some fishing stuff. Oh, the oar, yep, net. Oh, there's some orange juice and a snack. I'm gonna down that real quick. And then I better get going. Keep moving before it seize up. Oh, that hurt just to bend over. All right, so I've got my truck tow strap here. I was going to try to make handles, a doubled up shoulder harness. I don't know how well that's going to even up. Looks like it might be somewhat even. Anyway, I'm just going to hook that on there. See if that'll work. It's a sling harness. Okay, and away we go. Shoulder harness that I kind of threw together here. I shortened it up about the length to lift it when it's on my shoulder. The idea is to get at least lift up the bow a little bit on the pitch. So we'll see how that goes. It wasn't bad coming downhill, but of course it was loaded. It was loaded going downhill. I'm not even to the trailhead yet. Oh no, I'm missing it. Almost went by it. Almost went by the trailhead. It goes pitches down here. Talking, and I missed the trailhead. Disoriented. Probably I am tired. Just tuck it up and all that. Plus I paddled around that lake a few times today. As you can see, I'm still walking along it here. And it goes for a ways. So the lake is probably, I don't know, 1.5 miles long. Oh, there's the beginning of the trailhead way up there, 100 yards. Oh man, this is gonna take a while. All right, well, I'll check back in. We'll see. I'm probably not gonna make it back by dark. So that's just gonna be a fact of life. Oh well. All right, this is it. I'm at the trailhead. Down in the valley here, I gotta climb the mountain. So, and here we go. Okay, this is gonna take a while. I'm just gonna have to take breaks. I'm just gonna have to take breaks with it. Oh man, that's the first little pitch. Oh, come on up here. Come on back up here. All right, we're at the first bottom of the first steeper pitch. Rocky steeper pitch starts here. First switchback is, yeah, after that. So we'll see how this part goes here. Oop, don't pull me over. I'm gonna have to do a different strap setup. I don't quite have the angle right. Let's see, I'll go back to my configuration. And before I made it to the real steep part yet. Not looking forward to that. I was hoping to get to that before dark. I'm just about there. Maybe it's another 100 yards. Oh, definitely have to rest a little more often this trip. Getting to know the trail real well. I think this is where I stopped and said that last time. Oh. All right, mosquitoes are gonna not let me rest for long though. They're coming out in force. Yeah, it seems like giving it just a little bit of lift on the bow is helping it get over things. All right, here's the big steep push. And then the bridge is a couple hundred yards after that. It's the halfway point, I figure. But halfway up the steepest, longest pitch. There's a couple other steeper pitches, but not as long. Power up it. Come on, little doggy. There we go. Hiya. Be a fun ski run. Okay. Switch back to the left, down the hill to the bridge, before it pitches back up again. Woo! There's the bridge. All right. Stop here, take inventory, make sure I didn't lose anything. Make sure the kayak doesn't hit me, catch up with me, hit me in the shins, calves again. Phew! There we are. Gotta love fishing, know it? Fun, ain't it? Yeah, looks like I still got everything. There's a stream. I splashed myself with some cold water, but this is gonna be the most mosquito-y part of the trail. It's the wettest part. Eesh. Man, I am sweating. Sweating that half gallon of water I just drank at the bottom. Right out. There it goes. Well, definitely gonna get the wheels fixed. Of course, the wheels wouldn't handle this kind of terrain though either. I took the shortcut because I didn't have wheels. All right, one more for the road. There we go. Well, I'm not gonna make it back before dark, but the light at the end of the tunnel up here. Whew. Where it pitches down. All right, party time. Made it back to the truck. Holy shit, Chetty. Let's see how well the bottom handled it. Tailgate sit down time. It's all up here. I didn't lose anything on the way up. Oh man, it's good to be back. Good to have that done. I was not looking forward to this. Ever since I went down there, I knew the farther I was going down, the deeper in trouble I was getting. But I was like, I don't care. I'm committed to it at this point. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully next time I'll catch some fish. It was an adventure. I camped out, ate some good food, was good and tuckered out, slept well, did a bunch of paddling, saw some loons. No fish, so we'll have to saddle up and hit it again sometime soon. All right, catch you later.